Hello everyone, welcome to a toy haul video today where I'm going to go through a bunch of action figures, and all of these have one thing in common. As you can see, they are all still in its packaging, and that's because I'm doing some packing in my room, so I've decided to go through the figures with you. So it's going to be a relaxed and casual video today, and one of the reasons why I like to keep them in this packaging is because of the artwork. I really like that vintage type of style, so I like to keep them in its packaging. Another reason is I just haven't had time to go through the figure and decide whether to open them. So most of these will consist of your Marvel, your DC figures, you'll have movie characters, game characters, just a mixture really, so it's going to be a bit random. And it's not really like the figures you get today. Of course, I do collect a lot of the Bandai SH Figure Arts. Once you take those figures out of the boxes, you can of course put them back in. But for these figures, once you open the box, you just can't really put them back in. So it's a decision that a lot of you toy collectors like to make, whether you want to keep them in the box or not. I personally like to open the figures to admire them, but I know that there are some certain figures where you have to keep it in the box because it just looks better in it. So let's go through the figures one by one and see which ones we will open. So I'm going to start off with some classic Toy Biz figures. And this is the Spider-Man from the animated series. This is made by Toy Biz. And this is a 1994 1995 figure, so it is considered a classic. And I personally like to keep these in boxes because the actual action figure isn't probably the best. You're not going to get much articulation. This is still considered a toy for kids because it is a web parachute one, as shown in the back. You can play around with it. So I think if you take it out of the box, it's probably not going to look the best. I mean, it's not too bad, but I think this is the type of figure I like to keep in this packaging. Simply for the artwork, the nostalgia, especially the logo there. So I do have two of them, and this is the Web Racer. This is probably a bit better in the sculpting, but again, I think I'll keep it in the box. I know there is a bit of damage here. It is an old figure. So maybe I could open them and display one, but given the choice, I'd probably like to keep it in its packaging, simply for that design. And we have more Toy Biz Spider-Man animated series. This is the die-cast metal. It's a much smaller action figure. Again, probably not the best sculpting, but simply for the artwork, you want to have it in its packaging. And there are 4 other sets to collect, well, 3 others, and it's a early 90s figure again. So this is ones where I'll keep it in the box. Here is some movie characters now, and we have a Die Hard movie, John McClane. This is the classic movie, and played by Bruce Willis. And NECA makes some really cool action figures, not much articulation, but very good sculpting. This one is half and half. I think you can keep it in the box because I think they've got the artwork here from the movie and it looks decent enough. But if you look closely, he's actually not holding on to anything. He's meant to be holding on to this machine gun, which of course would look much better out of its packaging. So I just haven't really had time to decide whether to open this one. But given a choice, I think this one needs to be open. And then we have a Transformers, of course, Optimus Prime from the Fall of Cybertron. It looks decent in its packaging, but I think for Transformers figures, you've got to open it because you're going to have to build it into the car and really play around with it. So this is the type of figure you need to open, and I think I'll eventually do. And then moving on to a random figure here, it is the Sota Street Fighter. This is Fei Long, and from round 4. This is the classic Street Fighter figures, way before the NECA and Storm collectibles. This is a type of figure you got to take out of the packaging because he's just in a neutral pose. He's going to have plenty of articulation and plenty of accessories. So this is a figure I'm going to definitely unbox. And then we're going to go back to some NECA figures again. This is based off the Quentin Tarantino movie Kill Bill. This is the character Go-Go. Again, it's got plenty of accessories. This figure, I'll actually keep it in the box because I actually really like the artwork here. It is the photo from the movie, or at least the promotion pictures. I mean, I do really like the actual figure. I think it will look really cool out of its packaging. But this is just one I like to keep it in the box. And I think the artwork looks fantastic on the back there. So yeah, I'll keep this in the box. And then we have the main character, the bride. Same thing, you've got to keep it in the box as a collection. And yeah, very nice artwork on this. The colors blend really well. So this is a figure I'm going to keep it in the packaging. Next, we have some Dragon Ball figures. These are the Super Battle versions. Many of you may not have heard of these. These were the early Japanese brand that made the Dragon Ball figures. And I really like the artwork of this because it has a photo from the actual anime on the side as well. And the actual action figure is not much articulation. So I think when you take it out of the box, it probably doesn't look like the best action figure if you're comparing it with the likes of Dragon Stars or SH Figure Arts nowadays. So this is a vintage type of figure. I like to keep it in the box. And then we have another one, Super Saiyan Gotenks. Again, I got it for the artwork. Really nice packaging. The figure is probably not the best when you take it out of the box. It does have the attire as well. And plenty to collect. This is part of the Dragon Ball GT series. And yeah, I'm going to keep it in the box as well. Then I have a Superman NECA. This is based off the Christopher Reeves one. This one is actually a bootleg. It's not the official figure because that one is very difficult and rare to find nowadays. This one I found in one of the shops, and I think the sculpting is actually not bad for a bootleg. Maybe if you pull it side by side with the real one, there are major differences, but in terms of the actual figure, it doesn't look too bad. This one I've kept in the box for a while because I think it is a really nice design, as you can see. It kind of matches that vintage look for the Reeve Superman, but as over time it is starting to be a bit weird out, so I think I will take it out of the box eventually. And yeah, this is the NECA Superman. Moving on, this one is actually quite a modern figure. I got this less than a year ago. It is by Hasbro, Optimus Prime, of course the most popular character in Transformers. This is the War for Cybertron trilogy. And I really like the artwork of this box. Just look at it. You can see they have it on both sides. And it's really nice in its packaging. You can clearly see the figure. But again, for Transformers, I think this is a type that you really gotta open, pose it, and build the truck as well. So if you're not willing to open this, I think it's a bit of a waste. So this one I think I will open eventually. More NECA figures, and this is of course the endoskeleton from Terminator. This is an action figure I'll definitely open. The box isn't the best, it's very simple. This is the re-release boxes, I believe, and you can take it out and put it back in, which is fine. But again, for the endoskeleton, I think it's a bit of a waste if it's in the box. So this is the type I'll take out and pose. Then we have a Bandai figure. This is a Figart Zero of Luffy from One Piece. This one actually works both ways. I really like it in its packaging. I think it looks really neat. But at the same time, if I took this figure out of a box, I think it will look just as good as well. There's not much actual articulation on this. It's more of a statue. So to me, keeping it in the box looks good enough. But if I manage to collect the other characters, then maybe it will pose well with the others. But for now, as this is the only One Piece one I have, I think I'll keep it in its packaging because I think it looks pretty neat like this. Next, we have some Star Wars. This is the Black Series for Chirrut. This is a figure I'll probably open for sure. This is a type of figure where you actually can take it out and pull it back in with no problems. But this is the type of figure you're going to have to pose with different articulation. There is some nice artwork on the front. On the side, there's not much. This is actually a sticker I put on myself. On the back, there is a small description. There's not much on the other side. So this is a figure you're going to definitely open up, but you probably want to keep it in the box because you may want to pull it back in at some point. But this figure, given a choice, you got to take it out of its packaging. And now we have some Avengers figures. These are the smaller scale by Hasbro. 3.75 inches. Not much going on with its packaging. These are definite figures where you've probably got to open because it doesn't really do much in its packaging. And of course I have other characters including Black Widow. Also have the Hawkeye one. And I have the Iron Man one. So I'm missing the Thor and Captain America. So again, not much going on with the actual package. Such a small figure, but I think they're going to be out of the boxes. So staying on Avengers, we have a Marvel Universe, Marvel Legends here. This is a bit of a different figure to the ones we see today. This is more or less the older vintage style ones where you open the package and you can't put them back in. This is a builder figure for Terex. I actually quite like the artwork on this box, but I think this is the type of figure you're going to have to unbox. If you take a look on the back, again, it's very nice artwork, but you can see the box is starting to crease. It is a bit damaged as well, and it doesn't look vintage enough to really keep in the box. So I think I'll open this one. I'm gonna now move on to some movie ones. This one's a bit of a big box. This is the Lord of the Rings Two Towers, Freedom to Edoras. So it includes 3 action figures, Aragorn, Legolas and Gimli. The 3 main characters for the battlefield of Lord of the Rings. It's actually a decent type of box, like a curved one, but it is starting to wear out because it is an old figure. This is a type of figure where you have to open it to really see what's inside. It is a bit dark here. You can see there's actually plenty of accessories. You've got the swords, the axe, the arrows. If we take a look on the back, it actually demonstrates how you can do some articulations. For Gimli, it's like an axe throwing, Aragorn, the arrow, Legolas again, the arrows as well. So it's actually a nice box, but it's such a big one, you can't really see the figures, so you're going to have to take it out of its packaging. So just a few more left. And we've got some Marvel Legends again. These are the Toy Biz ones. So those of you who don't know, before Hasbro, Toy Biz were making the Marvel Legends, and they were all in this vintage type of packaging. So once you open the box, you can't really put them back in. What I like about these figures is the comics that are included. So all of them included a iconic type of comic. This one was the first appearance of Punisher. And this one's based off the movie that was played by Thomas Jane. And of course there are plenty of others to collect from this series. What I like about these boxes, it gives me that really nostalgia feeling, because these were the ones that I was growing up with, and I saw a lot of these in the stores, so it's really nice to buy them again. And these are the ones that I do actually like to open as well, because I do have a few where I've opened. Some I like to keep in the boxes as well. For this one, I just like it in this packaging. Maybe it's just the blended colours of the black and yellow. He is holding on to that gun. There's also the base at the background. So yeah, this one actually looks really nice. Maybe over time, if the box is starting to crease or through sunlight it actually turns yellow, then maybe I will open it. But for now, I'll keep it in its packaging. And of course, we have some Spider-Man ones from Toy Biz. This one's in a very good condition, as you can see. The Green Goblin. This is the classic villain in Spider-Man. You can see it doesn't include a comic at the back. This one also has a collector's card as well, which I really like. And this is a build figure for Onslaught. This is the type of figure you can work both ways. Once it's out of its packaging, it looks really nice. And I also like it in its packaging too. It is a vintage type of figure. The Green Goblin, such a classic villain. So I'm going to keep it in this box. And I also have the main character, of course, Spider-Man. This is his first appearance in that costume, and includes a comic with the first appearance Spider-Man cover as well. This is a builder figure for Sentinel. So even though it does have it, I'm going to keep it in its packaging for its vintage look. So you can see on the back there are others to collect. And just placing them side by side is very nostalgia. It feels like the stores that I used to go to, and just seeing these figures hang on the wall. So it gives me that feeling. So I do like to keep them in the box. So just a few more figures to go. Next is quite a big one. Not too sure if you can see at the top, but this one actually says the classic Silver Age Superman and Lois. And it's for the first time ever in a deluxe action figure set. Now this is a classic vintage style type of packaging, because it is based off the Silver Age Superman and Lois Lane. There is actually a lot in this figure. There's a base, a flag. There's also the flying cape type of pose you can do, and there's also the kryptonite. And I personally like to keep this in the box because I think the packaging has that vintage look to it, giving it that really classic Silver Age feel. Even though the actual figures look pretty good out of its packaging, I think I'm going to keep them in the box, at least for now anyways. So yeah, this is a really nice display. There are some other ones to collect, like the Batman and Robin, which I haven't got yet. Maybe I will pick them up in the future. And I think that's about it, apart from one more figure. This one you may not be too familiar with. This is a Fanatics Bruce Lee. They released quite a few of them, and they're just classic scenes of Bruce Lee. This one is half and half. I actually like the packaging because it's got a photo of Bruce Lee on the side, which is based off the figure here. But if I take a closer look at the actual sculpt, even though it's this mini figure, this is actually a very good sculpted action figure. It looks a lot like Bruce Lee. It is from one of my favorite movies of him, Enter the Dragon. And I think in this packaging on the wall, it looks pretty nice. Maybe if I take it out, it'll look just as good. On the back, you can see there's a description here, Bruce Lee's signature. And there is that iconic scene in the final battle, or the final fight. This one, I'm going to keep it in the box for now, simply because of the Bruce Lee photo here. But maybe in the future I will take them out. So yeah, I think that's about it for all the action figures I've gone through. Hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know whether you like to keep your action figures in its packaging or not. Which ones do you like to keep in the box? Which ones do you like to unbox? And also you can check out my channel for more action figure toy hunts, reviews and news. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.